Hi, I'm Kaylee, and today we are going to Google Autofill some questions about Dickens. So I'm starting a new video series where we type in questions about our favorite classic authors, and then whatever the Google Autofill fills in, we're going to answer those questions. So we're going to use the format of answering who, what, when, where, why, and how. So we'll ask who did Dickens, and then whatever the autofill is, we will answer those burning questions that you have. Before we dive into the questions about Dickens, I'm going to reach back here to our Booktuber Shoutout book, and we're going to shout out somebody randomly. Today's shout out goes to Andre's Books and Cats. I will leave a link to their channel in the description. Be sure to go over and subscribe to them. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to this channel and give this video a big thumbs up if you love classic authors like Dickens. And of course, follow me over on Instagram and Storygraph and Goodreads and all the places. So our very first question is, who did Dickens? And it fills in, who did Dickens marry? So Dickens married Catherine Hogarth. She was the daughter of George Hogarth, who was Dickens's editor. And when she was 19, Dickens invited her to his 23rd birthday party, and they hit it off and got engaged and were married a year later. So they were married in 1836, and they went on to have 10 children in the next 15 years. Well, they completely separated in May of 1858, after Catherine accidentally received a bracelet that was meant to be delivered to Dickens's mistress, Ellen Ternan, and they didn't really have any contact after that. Our next question is, what did Dickens write? Dickens wrote 15 novels, 5 novellas, a handful of some poetry, and 7 plays, and hundreds of short stories and nonfiction articles and essays. Our next question is, when did Dickens write? So Dickens submitted his first story to a London periodical in 1833. That was A Dinner at Poplar Walk. And he published Sketches by Boz in 1836, and he wrote all of his novels between 1836 and 1870, starting with the Pickwick Papers, which was serialized between 1836 and 1837, and then ending with The Mystery of Edwin Drood, which was left unfinished due to his death in 1870. Our next question is, where did Dickens live? So he was born in Portsmouth, and he spent his childhood in Chatham, Kent. His family moved to London when his father was put into debtor's prison, and Dickens kind of lived in various places in and around London, and Chelsea and Holborn. And in 1856, Dickens purchased Gad's Hill in Rochester, Kent, and that is where he died. Then we have, why did Dickens write A Christmas Carol? So A Christmas Carol was published on December 19th of 1843. The main reason it was published is because Dickens needed money. He had a lot of children to support, and he had really spent too much money traveling to America the previous year. And so he needed to make some money fast. And he thought, if I publish a Christmas story at Christmas, hopefully it will sell really well. He also wrote it because he had visited a school for poor children, Samuel Sterry's Fieldland Ragged School, and he was horrified by the conditions among the poor, and he was concerned about the prevalence of child labor. So he wanted to inspire people to give donations to charities. And he actually started out writing a pamphlet, but then he decided that a compelling story with pathetic characters like Tiny Tim would do more to inspire people to have pity on the poor and give to charities. Unfortunately, Dickens did not make as much money from A Christmas Carol as he wanted to, although it sold out within a week. The binding was really expensive and the price was kind of low, and so there wasn't much of a margin for profit. At least not as much as he wanted. And then the next question is, how did Dickens die? So he had a stroke in April of 1869, but he recovered and he scheduled some public appearances to do readings, and he kept working on his last novel, Edwin Drood. But then in June of the following year of 1870, he had another stroke, And he died in his home after a full day's work working on Edwin Drood. And he was buried in the Poets' Corner at Westminster Abbey. We also have a bonus question. How did Dickens get the nickname Boz? So Dickens took the pseudonym Boz, or sometimes pronounced Bose, from a nickname that he had given to his little brother, Augustus. He sometimes called his little brother Moses after a character in Oliver Goldsmith's The Vicar of Wakefield. And so if you pronounce Moses kind of as if your nose is all stopped up, it comes out Boses. And so that was shortened to Bose or Boz. And so the nickname isn't really Dickens' nickname at all. It's his brother's nickname. Please leave me a comment and let me know what are some other questions that you have about Dickens. And let me know which classic author would you like me to do the Google autofill for next. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and remember, the right book in the right hands at the right time can change the world.